hey, we know we give you zero federal dollars, but we want to talk about this. And I'm like, okay, so this is efficient of us to do this, right? But they did not want to have a conversation around the cuts that you just were having a conversation about, right? One of the things that I decided to do, they may not have wanted to talk about it, but I was going to highlight it. And what I did is I went through each and every one of the members on the DOGE subcommittee. I went through their districts and talked about how many children specifically were at risk for losing their Medicaid. And guess whose district was at the top of the list? The chairwoman, with 111,000 children that stand the risk of losing their Medicaid. Yet we're having a conversation, or we are sitting out and giving red meat to Fox News.
If you thought seeing Republicans get booed to their face at their own town halls was incredible, just wait until you see what happened in Congress today. Because during a hearing on Republicans' cuts to Medicaid, protesters came into Congress and booed, shouted down, and humiliated Republicans to their faces. I cannot wait for us to get into all this, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we check out the horrible Republican reaction, just the meltdown of getting booed, I want to hear Jasmine Crockett outline all of what they were cutting in this clip right here.
She serves as the vice-ranking member of the Oversight Committee and also serves on the DOGE subcommittee, and she joins me now. I want to start with the question to you from your perch, particularly the DOGE subcommittee. If my read on this, which is they've kind of like this weird division of labor where Elon Musk just cuts a bunch of stuff and they get to be like, I don't know, take it up with him, because then they don't have to vote for anything and they get a lot of cuts they want. And now that's coming to an end.
Yeah, listen, it's interesting because the DOGE subcommittee is all for cosplay, right? Like, we had a hearing today and it was all about trans people fencing. And they brought in someone, they actually subpoenaed a man and was like, hey, we know we give you zero federal dollars, but we want to talk about this. And I'm like, okay, so this is efficient of us to do this, right? But they did not want to have a conversation around the cuts that you just were having a conversation about, right? One of the things that I decided to do, they may not have wanted to talk about it, but I was going to highlight it. And what I did is I went through each and every one of the members on the DOGE subcommittee. I went through their districts and talked about how many children specifically were at risk for losing their Medicaid. And guess whose district was at the top of the list? The chairwoman, with 111,000 children that stand the risk of losing their Medicaid. Yet we're having a conversation, or we are sitting out and giving red meat to Fox News instead of talking about the real issues.
Am I right that the train is running late right now in terms of the timing of all this? I mean, I was trying to go back and look at where things were, but the Ron Johnson quote was interesting. Again, a lot of this has been behind the closed doors. Trump does so much by like fiat and decree, even though he constitutionally can't, that this has been obscured. In a different administration, there'd be more eyeballs on this, but it does seem like they're running late. Is that your sense?
Yeah, I mean, they're running late and they're running scared. Listen, you either are going to do what you need to do as it relates to the people that elected you, or you are going to go ahead and make sure that you bend the knee to your king. And right now, they don't know which one to do. I don't even know why it's a debate. But that's where we are. Like, this week, we were actually supposed to have markups in two of the most important committees. We were supposed to have a markup in Energy and Commerce. That is where the Medicaid cuts are supposed to come in, to the tune of $880 billion. They also were supposed to have a markup as it relates to agriculture and SNAP benefits, cutting $220 billion from SNAP when people only get $6 a day to eat in SNAP benefits for those that do receive it. And the last time I checked, you probably can't get 12 eggs for that amount of money. And so instead of doing it, literally there was a leak in a story that came out where staffers said, no, we want to make sure we can flood the zone. So whenever we do this, we're going to make sure that these committees are going to be at the same time. Like, the fact that you're hiding from your constituents, the fact that you literally just are like, let me just throw everything at you so that we can overwhelm you, instead of actually doing your job. I cannot wait until voters have an opportunity to say, you took food out of my mouth, you took a roof from over my head, you're responsible for making sure that I do not have health care. I'm going to make sure you don't have a job.
Do you think the balance of power in that caucus has shifted at all? I mean, you have people that are in vulnerable districts. You know, there's just reporting that they had, one of the ideas they floated was cutting the federal contribution to Medicaid. The folks facing, you know, voters in swing-ish districts got worried about that. Johnson told the House Republicans they were cutting that idea out. You've heard the reporting about the other cuts they're considering. I mean, ultimately, what is your sense of who gets steamrolled here, right? Because there's sort of two factions that can't both have their way.
Yeah, I think it's those in vulnerable districts.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones that are going to get steamrolled. I mean, when we look at what happened in New York, all of those that were in vulnerable districts, for the most part, 4 out of 5 of them, they ended up losing their seats. So I think it's going to be those that potentially keep them actually in the majority. Those are the ones that are going to lose out. So the Don Bacons in Nebraska, who's desperately fighting for his life. We know that Biden won that district. We know that Harris won that district. And unfortunately, our candidate did not overcome Don Bacon. So you've seen him speaking out. And I think what they'll try to do is they'll try to have kind of this, I'm speaking out, and they're hoping that people only see them talking and don't see what they're doing. Yeah. And I just hope that we do everything that we can to make sure that those constituents know that they are the reason that you are hurting right now.
Mike Lawler, another one in New York, who was the fifth out of those 4 or 5, the one who survived.
So while Donald Trump tells your sons and daughters that they only get a couple of toys, $2, max, maybe 1 pencil, half an eraser, he's getting a $400 million jet in cutting, hundreds of billions of dollars in Medicaid. That's the math equation. Doesn't really, come out positively unless you're one of the wealthiest people in America, which I guess are the people Donald Trump exclusively serves in this administration. But like I said, there were protesters who weren't too happy with how this was all shaken out. And so they went into Congress, had their voices heard, and Republicans were just melting down over it in these 2 clips right here.
The interesting thing is, you will not.
I have survived on my meds down for $10,000 a month. And really, you look at me, I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. How you cut all these cuts? How would I be able to stop at your store?
Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen will suspend. I want you to be heard, so let's wait to the gentleman is recognized.
It's unfortunate that people are so enraged by the misinformation that they've been given. It's a commentary on this this Congress and how we treat people. But
The committee will come to order. The chair will advise the audience that disruption of a congressional business is a violation of law and is a criminal offense. Please come to order. The chair advises the audience that violations will not be tolerated and the violators will be removed from the room and may be subject to arrest.
this has been the talking point for some reason from Republicans that this is misinformation. They're cuts to Medicaid. It's misinformation. It's not true. It's a Democrat lie. It's a lie of the Democrats. Oh, they're coming after us. It's in the budget. What are you're doing it. You're cutting Medicaid. You're raising the deficit by $4 trillion. Like, I can't do this. Can't do it anymore. It is laughable. The lies that they tell, laughable. The hypocrisy baked into every single statement. They don't care. Though they do feel a little uncomfortable when you boo them, so keep doing that. But other than that, they're not going to care. The public pressure campaign is what needs to happen. AOC was talking about this during an Instagram live that she just did. The other day, there's a lot of Republicans who might be folding, because who do you know who uses Medicaid a lot? Do you know who really relies on government programs? It's MAGA. Yeah. So their representatives, they should be worried. But it's not just Donald Trump's health care or your health care that Donald Trump is attacking Donald Trump. Whatever. Getting away is health care, which is, a couple of Big Macs and some Diet Cokes. He's also going after your safety in more ways than one. And Rachel Maddow talked all about that right here.
Like a backpack, like when you take camping, but it's actually a way to carry a baby on your back. It's a little baby carrier, a little chair you strap to your back. But the neat thing about this one is it has a little kickstand. So if you got to take the baby off your back and you want to put the baby down for a bit, you could put the carrier on the floor and pop out the kickstand so it sits upright. Cool idea, but that's where things went wrong. Quote, recall. Due to fall hazard, the hinges on the foldable rear kickstand support leg can crack or break. With the baby in there? Obviously, that is an uncool safety hazard for the aforementioned baby. And so some models of this baby chair that were made in the last 2 years have been recalled because of that problem. Also, check out this very nice looking drink cooler. Looks nice. It has wheels. Looks kind of friendly. I don't know. Looks appealing. Maybe I'm just thirsty. But don't be fooled. This one might cut your fingers off. Recall. The manufacturer Igloo expands its recall to nearly 1.2 million coolers because of fingertip amputation and crushing hazards. The toe handle can pinch consumers' fingertips. Oh, so man, you can't put the baby in the thing. You can't put the beer in the thing. It's very stressful. You might want to relax, maybe play some music at home. No! Recall! Yamaha recalls AC power adapters for digital pianos and music workstations because they can overheat and ignite, causing burn and fire hazards. Now, each of these companies that makes each of these products, they of course issue their own recall notices. But these specific alerts, you see the logo in the upper left corner there? That is the Consumer Product Safety Commission of the United States, CPSC. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is an independent agency of the U.S. federal government, and they perform a very basic, very important function of our government. They make sure the stuff we buy won't kill us. They make sure the stuff we buy is safe for us to use. And when it's not safe for us to use, they let us know. Recall. And this is, again, a very basic function of the government, right? And it's just also a nonpartisan concept, right? I think everybody can agree they don't want their beer coolers to cut off their fingers or their electric pianos to burst into flames. Nevertheless, in his infinite wisdom, Donald Trump has just fired most of the leadership at the Consumer Product Safety Commission. There's 5 commissioners, 2 Republicans, 3 Democrats. He just fired all 3 Democrats. And seriously, you're against the agency that recalls beer coolers that cut off people's fingers? Seriously? But beyond that, firing the commissioners like this is also pretty obviously illegal. Federal law is explicit that commissioners at this agency can only be removed from their jobs for neglect of duty or malfeasance, which absolutely does not seem to be the case here. But that's why these product safety commissioners who were just fired inexplicably by Trump, they are now fighting back. We're told that in the immediate aftermath of their firings, at least one of the commissioners and his staff tried to just show up at work anyway. Oh, sure, Trump says I'm fired, but Trump doesn't get to fire me. They showed up at their office, but were not allowed into the building. All three commissioners say they're planning to challenge their firings in court, and at least one of them says she just has no intention of abiding by her firing at all.
I always bring this up because I think it's important to examine and call out this fundamental lie of Donald Trump's, that his presidency was going to be the booming economy with a little bit of chaos, some mean tweets. As Republicans like to say, well, now we have an economy that's on the verge of a recession in the chaos, is a drunk Secretary of Defense, an incompetent Attorney General, an idiotic Secretary of Homeland Security who's spending money. She doesn't have sicking her masked thugs on anyone willing to call out Donald Trump, and now your baby seats aren't safe. Your planes are crashing. That's the little bit of chaos. Those are the mean tweets that Republicans always said Democrats are freaking out about. No, this is real. And it requires a real response, which is what we're going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and you can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, and until next time, I'll see you soon.